61.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, you can't beat Game 7s, and we've got another one tonight after last night. I will tell you. I am so amazed at the Texas Rangers comeback. Adolis Garcia, very deserving MVP. Remember the stat I gave you yesterday, Zach Boyd? That the team that had more home runs won the game.
Yes. I believe
19-3.
Yeah.
Make that 21-3 after yesterday. 21-3. That's how important the long ball is. Of course, Garcia hit a couple last night. If you would have said to me, after that contentious Game 5 between the Rangers and Houston, let's not forget, Houston jumped out on the road in Texas. They win 2. It's over, right? Houston, defending World Series champions, going back for sure, right? Done.
Easy.
Then, somehow, in Houston, Dallas wins 2. All right, I'm sorry. In Dallas, Houston wins 2. So now no home team is won, right? Game 5, finally you got a winner. It's Houston in a contentious Game 5 where little Altuve is the hero, and he's been the hero. If I think of this Astros team that, went to 7 straight ALCSs, which the only other team I can think of that had that kind of domination in their division would be the 90s Braves. They only won 1 World Series, too. The 90s Braves. They just kept winning and winning and winning their division every time. Houston's done the same thing in this American League, in their division and in the ALCS, getting to all of these World Series. Of course, they won last year. They're the defending world champions. We haven't had a repeat forever. We're not going to. But Altuve hits that home run, come from behind. Now they're going back home 2 games. Dusty Baker got tossed. His team still won. All the emotion, everything says to you, definitely it's Houston. There's no way Texas is going to win 2 games in Houston and go to the World Series because they had it in their hands in Game 5 and Altuve took it away. Holy smokes. Not only do they win, they kill them. Kill them. Get double-digit runs both games. I mean, it's like no way possible that could happen, but it happened. And now you've got a Philly and Arizona showdown today, another Game 7. It's rare that you get ALCS or LCS Game 7s in both leagues. Happened a couple of years ago, too. It's happening again this year. We know it's the Rangers in the World Series, no repeat. And now we'll find out in just a few minutes. Tim Doolin, our baseball guru, will join us, and he'll let us know who's going to win this National League championship game tonight, 7 o'clock. I've really become a fan, by the way, of Brian Anderson, the guy that's doing it for TBS. He does basketball on TBS and TNT. I think he's outstanding. Nothing against Joe Davis and John Smoltz. I think they're a good team. They'll do the World Series because Fox has it.
Yeah.
But Brian Anderson has become a major voice now in America. He's really outstanding.
Yeah, like TNT and TBS, they all have like the good broadcasters, that can do multiple, that can, call multiple games. And like you said, Brian, he does it, like you said, he does a really good job when TNT has their expanded coverage. And, baseball, now that they move Ernie Johnson into the booth and then just kind of have him be the main guy, well,
you're Ernie
and then obviously Matt Vasgersian going to ESPN, paved that way as well.
Sure. Well, the bottom line is that Ernie Johnson has become the best TV host. The girl that does it is good, by the way, when he's not there. But the Ernie has become the best studio host in the game. I believe the best numbers of any studio programming. Well, I don't think you can beat the NFL, honestly, because their numbers are gargantuan. But that NBA studio show with that cast of characters with Charles and Ernie and Shaq and Kenny, those guys are, I think, considered the top studio program of all.
Yeah.
So anyway, tonight it's going to be Brandon Pfaadt for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who decent numbers in postseason, doesn't have a win or a loss, 2.13 ERA, 12 innings pitched and 15 strikeouts, only one walk. And then Ranger Suarez for Philly, who's 1-0 with a great ERA, under 1.64, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks in 14 innings. Maybe this will be a showdown of pitching. We shall see. Tim Doolin's going to break it down for us in a little bit. Tomorrow, opening night in the NBA, some NBA news. Giannis re-signed with Milwaukee. So getting Damian Lillard was the key to re-signing Giannis Antetokounmpo. Do you know how much money this dude's making for these next 3 years? Holy cow.
What?
It's a $186 million 3-year contract extension. And let's face it, he's going to sign another long-term deal. But this deal pays $62 million a year. Wow.
That's the price tag.
$62 million a year. $186 million. Look up really quick, if you can, how old Giannis is. I mean, it's just amazing now in basketball the incredible wealth the top players are going to be able to amass. $62 million a year for 3 years. And how old is he?
It's 28.
28. So he'll be 31. He'll get another long-term deal. He'll get another, I'll bet you, $500 million in earnings before his career is over. Man. Talk about some generational wealth. Good for you, Giannis. It is interesting. His deal ends when Lillard's will end. So this grouping in Milwaukee, who, by the way, co-favorites with the Bucks by Vegas odds, they will be around for 3 years. They're going to be fun to watch for sure for the next 3 years now that he has re-signed. And believe me, he's going to make money elsewhere because he'll only be 31 when his next deal can occur. Celtics and Bucks co-Vegas favorites to win the NBA title. Denver third, Phoenix fourth, Golden State fifth. The Grizz are tied with Cleveland for the 11th best. And I'm wondering, because Vegas is pretty darn current, is that the odds that was set post-Steven Adams announcement or pre-Steven Adams announcement? I'm not 100% certain. I would think post. I think they would have been better pre than 11th. Hard to argue, though. Bucks, Celtics, and then Denver third. Can Denver repeat? Hard to repeat, as we can see with baseball and everything else. Hard to repeat. Jokic is the 3-1 favorite to win the MVP. See, this is wild to me because you would think Denver third is the team that's the third best team in the NBA going to have the MVP? Come on, I don't know. And then Giannis is 6-1. Luka Doncic is third at 11-2. So those are the odds. That's what's happened in the NBA as we get set for everything to start. And for the Memphis Grizzlies, it'll start tomorrow, FedEx Forum, with a healthy Zion and the New Orleans Pelicans in town, FedEx Forum. It should be a big happening. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Please help them out. They're overstocked. They want to move things out. They want the winter and then spring stuff moving in. So they are basically giving away. I shouldn't say giving away. Patio sets, but they're 50% off. And play gyms are under $2,000. And you can get winter pool closing items for 30% off. all you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road, Family Leisure, where the clearance sale and, of course, family and fun all come together. Our title sponsor is Genesis of Olive Branch, the GV70. That is the newest in luxury. We all love shiny, new technology that's brand spanking new. We love that kind of stuff. We love all the gadgets. You can't get more luxury and more high tech than Genesis, and they've got deals on the GV70. That is the new Genesis SUV, the littler one. Then there's the bigger one, the GV80, that is wowing folks, and they've got pricing that is very enticing and some new financing ideas. Go see Vinny Gerard right at the corner of Highway 78. It's Lamar, and then you turn left right at Craft Road, first exit, and you'll see Chris True, Vinny Gerard, and all the gang, Genesis of Olive Branch. We had somewhere, I think East Memphis, maybe Germantown, our friend Tim Doolin standing by. You don't always get Game 7s. We've had 2 in the LCSs this year. It's unusual, kind of rare, but a whole lot of fun. Who would have seen the Texas Rangers comeback after Game 5 and Altuve's home run? No way. But they did it.
Well, it just goes, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago on the show, is just how deep the Rangers are. Not only, really in every aspect. They defend. They've got guys that can put balls in play. They got guys that can hit the ball over the fence. And they got great pitching. And so I honestly don't think that club was panicked, although as you said, Altuve coming up big when he did and having a monster series. No one would have thought after Game 5 that the Astros would not win.
Not me. I thought it was over right there. They stole momentum. They're going home. I know they're not a good home team. They were better on the road, but you would have thought, come on, postseason, Dusty Baker pulling all the strings. Of course, Bochy, he's a Hall of Famer. A good point was made. Might have been made by John Smoltz last night, that poor Bruce Bochy, he's kind of screwed himself in getting to the Hall of Fame because he came back to be a manager for Texas because he's a Hall of Famer. Now this is the third different franchise he's taken to a World Series. San Diego, obviously all the great years in San Francisco, and now he was handpicked by a former player of his, the general manager of the Rangers, to come in, and he was retired. He came back out of retirement, and he's been the perfect thing for this team, and now they're in the World Series. It's a terrific story.
No, it really is, and I think you got to really tip your hat to the Rangers front office and ownership to allow the GM to go make that move and talk Bochy out of retirement, because I think he was perfectly content, but obviously understanding what what Bochy's rules were as far as, if I come back, here are the things that I'm going to be able to need to do. And I'm sure the GM knew that before he ever went and talked to him, just knowing who he is and his history, his background with him, etc. But, think about it. Well, this club was this franchise was really somewhat in trouble moving into a new stadium.
Right.
They weren't very good. John Daniels had tried to put together and assemble a really good club, and it just hadn't worked out for him. And then they made the change, and here they are, going to the World Series.
What do you think are the 2 or 3 Bochy rules that were the critical things that he had to have to be successful that he got?
Oh, I don't think it's any different. And I've talked to some people that are kind of in the know. I'm in Dallas a lot and have relationships with guys that are in their scouting department. I think the biggest thing is that, I think Bochy would say there's always been analytics. I'm an analytics guy. I get it. But at the end of the day, I got to manage this team. You're hiring me because I'm a veteran. Let me do what I do, and let me get in the clubhouse and learn my players. And fortunately, he's got some veteran guys that have been there. And I think the critical thing was just let me manage the game. Let me go with my gut instead of being told what to do if the matchups, per se, dictate what needs to happen. But if I don't want to go with them, I'm not going to go with them. I'm going to go with my gut. So I think that much to the same with Dusty. I think Dusty's done a lot of that.
Well, Dusty was the perfect choice for Houston when they were in the midst of the cheating scandal.
Where they were, there was no question they needed they needed the Godfather to come in and just, rally the troops, and he's done that over the course of the last 3 or 4 years.
And the word is he's gone now. He's not coming back?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard rumors like you have that he's had enough fun and he's ready to, watch his son go through the minor leagues, and I'm sure he's got grandkids, so that doesn't surprise me.
I was never enamored with Dusty when he was in Chicago, but he's showed me so much since then. Obviously, he's one of the greats of the game, and I think baseball's going to miss him. But if he wants to, sit back and enjoy some off time, I can't blame him at all for that. No off time tonight for Phillies and Diamondbacks, another crazy series here where home teams have suffered. You've got two pitchers tonight on paper that look outstanding. Arizona's going to throw fat. Suarez for the Phillies. Both are great strikeout pitchers. Both have terrific ERAs, particularly Suarez. What happens Game 7 tonight in your mind?
Well, I can tell you this, Wolo. The pressure's all on the Phillies. The Diamondbacks are playing with house money. They're not supposed to be there. They're the underdog. They played like that last night. They've just got so many weapons. They've got unbelievable team speed. They can steal bases. They've got guys that typically have not been hitting the ball over the fence that are. And to your point, they've got great pitching. So I think it's going to come down to which pitchers make the fewest mistakes. You make mistakes against any of these teams that are this deep in the playoffs, and they don't miss them. So if you hang a slider, they're gonna hit it over the fence. They're not gonna miss it. So, to the Phillies fans, they've been there, they've done it. They know what it's like to play in pressure situations. That their fan base and that crowd is electric, and so it's going to be a great game. I'm not surprised at all. We're here in Game 7 with these guys.
All right, so give me your prediction.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Diamondbacks are going to be playing the Texas Rangers.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to be great for TV ratings, but we'll see. But I do think, for some reason think it's the Diamondbacks' turn, and Torey Lovello's done an unbelievable job.
He sure has. Wow.
I really do appreciate the fact that the ownership group has stayed with him, and it's taken them a long time to get to this point since they won the World Series years ago. And so I think it's the Diamondbacks' time.
That'd be the underdog World Series for sure, because both those teams are incredible, incredible underdogs. All right, so last thing, no World Series repeat. We haven't had one for a long, long time. I'm trying to remember. I think it's back the Yankees in the early 2000s maybe was the last repeat World Series champion. Why is it so hard?
Well, I think there's lots of parity in the league right now. Which is awesome for baseball. And I think that you've got a lot of really good young players coming up. And I think more and more organizations are not scared to push prospects. Corbin Carroll, you got guys, sprinkled throughout the Rangers club as well. So I think it's a combination of things, and I hope that it continues, to be honest with you. I'm all for, your favorite team and trying to create dynasties, but I just think those days are over. Maybe
so. Tim Dillon, you're our man. We'll talk World Series next Tuesday. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to it, Wolo. Thanks.
He's got it as a Cinderella series, ladies and gentlemen. Will the Phillies go down at home tonight? We'll see. Game time, I think it's 7 o'clock. We take a break. When we come back, we put this seventh week, I think it is, to bed in the NFL. Jeff Moore in studio. He's right around the corner.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at DriveMax. 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 You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change. causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
From baseball to football, we shift in just a minute. It's all brought to you by Southern Security. That's your home team credit union. No, now we're talking 70 years they have been helping and serving the Mid-South community with unbeatable rates, low fees, great service, and always the newest technology. This is the way to do banking for sure, and they're getting bigger. Under Dawn Grader's leadership, she's now the CEO. They have expanded. They've just broken ground on a brand new big building, state-of-the-art, by the way, in Collierville. If you would like any kind of business need. I'm talking the lowest competitive rates on auto loans, great rates and better benefits on your credit card, a whole lot more. And you want to talk to somebody to feel like it's part of the family, you can call. They actually answer phone calls at Southern Security. 901-452-7900. Talk to one of the team members. You can go on the website if that's the way you like to do it at southernsecurity.org. Big sponsors of the U of M Athletic Department. They truly are your home team credit union for all your banking needs. One place does it all, Southern Security. Jeff Moore, as always, joins us to put the NFL week to bed. We're almost halfway through. Lots of interesting stories. Last night, the Vikings just kind of, I don't know if they stole one, if San Francisco didn't play so good. Brock Purdy sure looked like very average, not like the guy. Now he's lost 2 in a row after hadn't lost a start in his entire career. San Francisco looks a lot more vulnerable. So does Miami, for that matter. Philly, KC, they look like the juggernauts halfway through.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's start with San Francisco. You have to get a Vikings defense credit. Certainly some of the passes that Brock Purdy threw, the interceptions, were not well thrown. But you have to give this Minnesota offense credit for the way that they played and were able to move the ball consistently against one of the better defenses in the NFL. I was quite surprised. That was a big upset for me because Minnesota has not played well and consistently throughout the year. So to see them go in there or play at home but play a team like San Francisco, who we thought a few weeks ago was almost unbeatable with the way they were playing offensively and defensively. Hats off to the Vikings for the way that they played. And then, of course, the big game for me was just seeing Tua and
Hurts
and Jalen Hurts go at it in Philadelphia, and that was a great game. And what was so ironic is even though the Eagles really weren't able to stop the Tua to Tyreek Hill combination, I mean, those guys are unbelievable. Their offense was just so steady. Jalen Hurts was fantastic, and we're starting to fall in love a little bit with that push play that they do. And it was a gutsy call in the fourth quarter for them to go for it, backed up on their 27.
I couldn't believe they did that with a one-score game.
With a one-score game, but it just shows how much this coach believes in these players. And then to hear, Kelsey kind of talk about how difficult that play is to run. I mean, he says it's really exhausting for both offensive and defensive lines because it's just a lot of mass men moving each other. It's difficult for the offense and the defense, but of course, when you're pushing a player like that, all you can do is just nullify the advance of the defense and then just wait for them to push him and get the yard or two that they need. Right. Very gutsy call.
Let's just talk about what is now called the tush push. And frankly, the Eagles are the best. They were the first ones to do it, and they're the best at doing it. And I think we found out a couple of reasons why. In case you don't know what it is, 4th down, 3rd down, short yardage situation, 1 to 2 yards. The quarterback hits under center, gets the ball. The center pushes. The quarterback is pushing, and now you have 2 guys behind pushing the pile as well. Part of the reason they say that Philly is the best at this is because Kelsey, not the famous Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey, the brother who's the center for the Eagles, it has really strong legs. Maybe the strongest quarterback in terms of doing squats. He can squat 600 pounds.
That's unbelievable.
Is Jalen Hurts. That combination, his leg strength, then the other guy's pushing, that's why Philly does it better than anybody else. The NFL is not looking quite favorably at all of this because they are now starting to think this could be a dangerous play. I would love your take on that. Should the NFL ban the tush push?
I don't think they should ban it because nobody's gotten hurt as a result of them running that play so far or seriously injured. So, I mean, it's within the rule book, and it's not unusual to see a guy get stopped and his teammate come and push him. It's just that they've organized it and really put a lot of thought into the best way to do it. So I'm hoping they don't take it away from them because it would be unfair given that they're just successfully doing it and nobody else has been able to figure it out.
Well, that's true. I mean, other teams are trying it, and their rate of success, not quite like Philly's. I think a lot of that has to do, though, honestly, with the leg strength of Jalen Hurts. Who knew? I never knew a quarterback could bench 600 or squat 600 pounds. That's like, it seems ungodly.
It is unbelievable. And the other thing, too, about Jalen Hurts, it was obvious to me that he was hurt in that game. I mean, there was a couple of times that he ran. He looked like he was kind of limping a little bit. And then he came out in the second half with a brace on. But his mental toughness is just unquestionable. And it's the thing that gets this offense going. They have a really stout, respectable running game. But I love the way he's spreading the ball around, and he really made some good decisions and good throws in that game.
I thought really Miami was going to be the better team in this game, so I was really wrong. Hats off to them. Yeah. The other one that I thought would be a close game, I picked the winner, and that is Baltimore and Detroit, but I did not expect the domination. Same way I didn't expect Philly to dominate Miami. I certainly didn't see the Lions just getting crushed by the Ravens.
This Lions defense has been stout all year, and the Ravens come out and their first 4 drives end up in touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson was just flawless in that game. He just made good decisions all day long, threw the ball well, no picks, 3 touchdown passes, and a run for a touchdown. It just really just took the heart out of Detroit. I mean, they're midway through the third quarter and they're behind 35-0. Nobody expected them to play that well, and it bodes well for Baltimore because that division all of a sudden has gotten really tight. Who expected the Steelers to go out to the Rams facility and win a game on the road, especially with the way that they've struggled? So they're 4-2. Cleveland is a big surprise. They go and they come back against I believe they played the Colts. They come back against the Colts and win 39-8. Kind of at the end of the game, Myles Garrett goes crazy, has an unbelievable game. We've never seen a guy just jump over the pile the way he did, and he was phenomenal. And of course, we know this Cleveland defense is one of the best. They were able to stop the 49ers a week or so ago, and so Cleveland, big surprise. They don't have even a steady quarterback at this point because Deshaun Watson's been in and out of the lineup. But this team is playing really well, and all of a sudden the AFC North looks like a juggernaut.
It's been a crazy week. Come on. I mean, let's face it. Who would have seen that Bill Belichick would get his 300th win, his worst team maybe ever that I can think of, and they beat the Buffalo Bills. This is the way Josh Allen's teams have been. There's no consistency with him at the helm of Buffalo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too. So Buffalo had won 4 straight games in that series, and Mac Jones was not playing well, but he came out and played his best game, I think, as a quarterback who's very consistent, very accurate in his throws, and really heady in some situations where it was really tight and they had to make their first downs on third down, and he was able to make the throws and get them. And then the drive at the end of the game was just spectacular for a young guy that's been struggling the way he's been struggling. So that was a big surprise. Buffalo has still got some soul searching to do in that division, and they don't have a lot of time to get their act together.
I think if we're looking at the best teams that we can gauge so far, if we're looking at a little more than a third of the way through this season, looking at a Super Bowl preview, you would have to think it's Kansas City and Philadelphia, wouldn't you?
You have to. And at this point, those guys certainly have the best records, but they seem to be playing the best. And, man, what can you say about Kansas City? I mean, Mahomes was just spectacular. Travis Kelce, unstoppable. And you think about the fact that when teams face the Chiefs, one of the main things they're trying to do is stop that combination, double Kelce, triple him, do something. And you just can't stop them because Patrick Mahomes is so good at being solid in the pocket, escaping, and then his receivers responding down the field. They're playing really well now, have won 6 games in a row, and really seem to be in a really good place offensively and defensively.
Could you imagine if Kansas City had somehow been able to keep Tyreek Hill? Oh my God!
It wouldn't be fair.
It would not be. You're right. It would not be fair. You mentioned your Rams, your former team. They're with the Cowboys this week. They're in Dallas. I love the story about Darrell Henderson. He hasn't been playing. Obviously, he was let go by them. Went to another team, didn't work out. He's doing nothing, basically, and the Rams got problems. They have an injured running back. They bring him back into the fold. He plays pretty good. Yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah, he did play a good game. This is going to be an interesting test for the Rams because, they've been a little bit up and down this season, and, of course, we know the Cowboys story. They've struggled a little bit to be consistent. They need to win this game because their schedule is really tough over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So that's going to be a game that they really do have to win this week. And I'm looking forward to seeing to see how the Bengals and the 49ers play this upcoming weekend because Cincinnati, surprisingly, is at the bottom in their division. But we know this is a good team with Joe Burrow at quarterback and them trying to figure out how to be more effective offensively. So that's a game that they've definitely got to win, and the 49ers can't afford to lose 3 games in a row.
That's what we love about the NFL. There's always crazy stories, right? And upsets. We saw a bunch this week. None is crazier in my mind. Look, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, had been perfect except for the last 2 weeks. So guys that are not necessarily big names can end up being important players. Mr. Irrelevant, right? Last guy taken in the draft becomes the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. How about Tyson Bagent? Who is that guy? That is a guy that went to Shepherd University. Where is Shepherd University? Who are they? Shepherd University is a Division II school in West Virginia. Nobody knows. This guy came in. He was not even supposed to make the scout team. He beats out some big names to become the backup quarterback. Justin Fields goes down. He comes in, right? Nobody knows who this dude is unless you're in Chicago. And goes 21 of 29, 162 yards, threw for a touchdown, no turnovers in the game, even rushed for like 24, 25 yards. And the Bears upset a bad Vegas team, so that they're not 2-5. This guy, though, how does that happen? How does a Division II guy who's not supposed to make the team ends up beating Peterman and another big-name guy that were in camp to be the backup to Justin Fields? He beats him out, and now he's the starting quarterback until Fields comes back? Crazy.
That is crazy. And I think it's one of the things that's just fascinating about pro sports and pro football as well, the fact that, the mental toughness, that's the one thing you can't measure. It doesn't matter where a guy played in school or in college. When he gets to line up against other players, the difference a lot of times is how much mental toughness, how much he can pick up the playbook and be ready to play. And then how he can respond to the pressure when he gets out there and doesn't make mistakes. This young man has gotten that opportunity, and he's taken advantage of it, played well. Not spectacular, but well enough to win, no turnovers. It's a great story. I hope he can continue, and I hope they can protect him so that he can and just do the job until Fields can get back.
Yeah, if he were to keep winning, if you're Bears management, you've had this ping pong kind of back and forth with Justin Fields. Is he really going to be that guy? Is he not going to be that guy? It looked like the last couple of games before he got injured, the light was starting to come on. There probably should not be any hesitation once Fields is healthy. He's got to be back in. But if this guy beats the Chargers this week, what do you start to think?
Well, I mean, I think you just know that you've got a good backup. I mean, I think Justin Fields is definitely head and shoulders above him in terms of just talent and knowing the overall offense. And I think he gives the team the best chance to win when he's healthy. But it's always great when you've got a good backup that can come in and get the job done the way he's done so far.
One other interesting story happened either last night or this morning, where the NFL has now suspended Denver safety Kareem Jackson. He's suspended for 4 games, which I think comes out to quite a bit of money. He's already been fined. He's already had a bunch of illegal hits. And Sean Payton, of course, his coach, has come to his defense saying, well, they're all close. It's really hard to regulate. What's your take on him, and what does the NFL got to do with these close calls where it's targeting?
Well, I think the key is when a guy has a record of consistently being in those kind of plays where it's questionable. And certainly in his case, it's been too many. And I think when you've got a guy like that, you've got to sit him down to protect him, to protect the players that he's playing against. You just don't want that kind of play in the game because it's already dangerous enough. But when you have somebody that's consistently showing that they're targeting or has the potential to be targeting, you've got to sit him down. And ultimately, that guy needs to be out of the game. There's no room for that. I mean, it's already a violent enough game as it is. And I like to see when the NFL really comes down on a guy like that to send a message to the rest of the league that that's not acceptable and it's not necessary.
Do you like then what Sean Payton did? He's kind of sticking up for his guy. He doesn't want to lose his locker room, but clearly this guy is not playing by the rules.
Yeah, and of course, a coach is going to, in most cases, try to step up for the guy for the sake of the locker room. But you've got to have a conversation with this guy and say, hey, man, that's just not acceptable. You've got to figure this thing out. And there's a way to play the game clean without that and still make good hits, still make good tackles.
He's clearly a good player.
Yeah, without the potential for harming yourself as well as other players.
Right. Thank you, my friend. As always, we appreciate it. We've got big games next week. We'll do this again next Tuesday.
Look forward to it.
That's our man. That is Jeff Moore, former Vol and former Ram on the National Football League. He's brought to you by Ken Garland, custom home builder, second generation. Ken and his dad before him, we're talking over 70 years of building beautiful palaces or renovating homes and making them now more modern. He's done that, and his dad for 70 years, 7 decades of perfection. That's what I like to call it, because that's what Ken gives you. He cares. He knows you're making a big commitment, and that's why he pledges. He works closely with you and guarantees you quality workmanship, on time, on budget. That's the way he's done it, and that's why he's so successful. See what I'm talking about. Go to kengarland.com, then call. He's fun to talk to. Sees the little details and the big picture all at the same time. And again, works very closely with you, 751-1632. That's the number. If you want a renovation, if you want that dream home, there's only one place to go. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We go to Tampa, more on the NFL. Also, a little college football mixed in. What in the world is happening at Michigan? TJ Reeves may have some answers when we come back.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
This holiday season, Conway Services, part of the ARS network, would like to recognize those making a difference in our communities. Through our national ARS Cares Community Heroes program, we want to give back to a community hero for the positive impact they have made by giving them a new heating and cooling system or water heater. Take a minute to nominate your deserving community hero in need by visiting ars.com/ARS Cares.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan loves her ring from Genesis Diamonds.
I wanted something simple and with the stone that I loved, and that's exactly what he got. And then we dressed it up a little bit with the wedding bands, got a little firework action looking around it, and he definitely killed it when it came to choosing the ring.
Kylie's then-fiancé Jay did a lot of research, but chose Genesis because of the reputation, the quality, the personal service, and of course, the value.
Any man can walk through that door and know that, he's not going to be upsold or pressured to buy anything.
Kylie ended up writing a collection of songs about her bridal experience, including the viral sensation Bridesmaids.
I had at least 1,000 DMs asking from future brides where I got my ring, who I worked with because of the viral song. I think everyone kind of just looked at me as the person to ask.
And Kylie's advice to all those girls?
Go to Genesis. It's been a great experience, and they'll take care of you.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase. All 36-month leases and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE $678, $6055, MSRP $21,610, Nero P5017859, MSRP $41,090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP $49,687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
You heard the man. We are sponsored by Homer and by Genesis of Olive Branch. Go see Vinny Gerard. Ask about the GV70 and the GV80 with the new pricing incentives and also financing available that may be too good to pass up. Go see Vinny at Genesis of Olive Branch. To Tampa we go. Something we have really not discussed much. I know there's a lot on the NFL on your plate, I should say, and you obviously keep up with college football. You've got a game, I know, coming up here in the next week or so with Compass, but I did want to ask you a little bit about what's going on with the University of Michigan. We have not touched on this story very much at all. The allegations are that a staffer on Jim Harbaugh's staff, a guy named Connor Stallions, a former Marine and intelligence guy who has been a consultant on the Michigan staff. Apparently, they got proof. He bought tickets to 30 different Big Ten football games at 11 different schools.
Using his own name and email, by the way.
Right. And basically filmed sidelines of the opposition that Michigan was going to face so that he would know their signals and then would relay them to the Michigan coaches. He was on the sideline next to the coaches. Unbelievable stuff. Your take on this story, how much is Jim Harbaugh, who's already got problems with recruiting violations and was suspended for some 3 games to start the year, what is your take on all of this?
Well, it's great to be with you on all fronts. I know we'll get to the Buccaneers and the Bills and Thursday Night Football in a couple days, too, as well. But on this, he's already been suspended earlier this year by the Big Ten, and this apparently is at least one Big Ten team, if not 2 or 3 of them, that have come forward with this evidence, including apparently it's now gone so far as like a sting operation where they have videotaped the videotaper, Wolo.
Wow.
They've got surveillance of him in the stands doing this, caught red-handed at games, and there's a Big Ten rule, black and white. You cannot do this stuff. And there is no doubt that there's video and still photography of him next to the Michigan defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator constantly, basically telling them what's about to happen because of the hand signals that he's seen across the way. And so the real next level question is, what does the Big Ten do about this?
Well, I guess the very first question is, does Jim Harbaugh know about this? Does the head coach, is he involved?
How does he not? If his staff members have this guy standing right beside them telling them what's going on, you don't have any deniability at that point. I mean, whether or not you don't, and at this point, you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt with previous transgressions on denying it, because there's obvious evidence this is coordinated with in conjunction with your game planning and with the offensive and defensive coordinator. He's standing right beside them, constantly telling them this is the play from the hand signals. So I don't know how he has any deniability on this. And if you're the Big Ten, they've got 4 games left. 2 of them at Ohio State at Penn State, and the final one with Ohio State. Do they dare sit him down again like they did at the beginning of the year where they sat him down for the 3 non-conference games? That was a Big Ten decision, by the way, and NCAA decision. It was like a combination of both. But does the Big Ten do anything about this? Because you can't rely on the NCAA to do anything about this before the end of this year, and most likely Harbaugh's now going to leave and try to go back to the NFL.
First of all, he's already made a statement that he knows nothing. He's never been involved. Of course he is.
Of course.
Right. So here's my thing. It's going to take a while for them to really sort this out.
But they've been sorting it out. They've been sorting it out now for at least 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay,
and Michigan's on a bye week, and they have video evidence. And why can you not have a meeting where, do you want to participate? Do you want to tell us what you were doing or not doing? And if not, we'll go ahead and rule without your help and without you giving your side of the story.
Well, here's my thing, because I've seen speculation on this. If indeed, let's say they don't get this done during the regular season, okay? Before the Big Ten championship game, maybe they do. If Michigan beats Ohio State and Penn State, and they could very well do that because they got a super team. There's no doubt about it. And Michigan's won the last couple of Ohio State games. If they run this thing and then they make this thing and they find they're guilty, would that be enough for the NCAA and the Big Ten to go, okay, Michigan is not going to be allowed to be in the playoff? Do you see that happening?
And you brought up the key word there. What about the playoff committee that's not beholden to the NCAA? And they can come up with their own reason why we're going to exclude you. We believe in the integrity and fair play and following the rules, and we're now going to exclude you because that's a vote. Let us remember that's a vote. And the playoff committee has a different situation now on their hands where they don't have to be beholden to what the NCAA comes up with or doesn't come up with in the next few weeks. Fascinating. And apparently one of the schools that has turned them in, you got to believe Ohio State is one of them, that Ryan Day and Ohio State, because Ryan Day coming out of the game last year had no answers and explanations as to how Michigan just wiped them out in the second half. Well,
Right.
Now maybe part of it was this.
Because they knew
But now
every
this
play
year-
that was coming.
This year they have the sting. They have the videotaping of the videotaper because there were several Big Ten schools talking about this, and one of them has busted them. And the belief is it's Rutgers. Now the game this year.
So that's your old guy, Schiano.
And Greg Schiano, the former Buck coach who's now back at Rutgers. Greg Schiano. Now the Rutgers-Michigan game was at Michigan, and it was in September, and Michigan won the game. But apparently Rutgers may have had and may have video of this coach being at their game prior to the Michigan game, videotaping their sideline. So it runs deep. It's a big deal. And stay tuned. Does the Big Ten do anything? Does the playoff committee do anything? That's the real story.
I would have to say this is trouble for Harbaugh. I would have to say there's no way he's at Michigan next year. He'll be in the NFL. Or retired, most likely in the NFL. And I hate to say this, but if indeed they got enough evidence, and we're talking, this guy bought tickets to 30 games.
Going back 2 years.
3 years. 3 years is what I've got. Right. 3 years. This is an elaborate scheme of cheating that is clearly defined as cheating, and they should be banned from postseason play.
Let's see. Will anybody have the guts, let's say, on a Tuesday morning in Memphis to do anything about it from the Big Ten standpoint or the playoff committee standpoint?
Crazy. All right, Bucks, Buffalo. Buffalo is the most inconsistent team, maybe. There are moments of greatness for Josh Allen. There are moments of maybe less than mediocrity with this team, getting tripped up by the worst New England team I've seen since Bill Belichick got there this week.
Right.
Of course, there's always surprises. How do you explain Tyson Bagent and the Bears? Of course, Vegas isn't very good, but a Division II football quarterback becoming a star.
Your D2 guy with the tattoos all over him, and he looks fantastic.
I know.
What did I see? He's the first Bears quarterback to win his first rookie quarterback to win his first start in like 50 years. Is that what I saw? A rookie quarterback winning his first start.
How many times have the Bears had rookie quarterbacks, honestly?
Well, right, not that often,
Yeah.
but still. That's, it's a week-to-week league. How do we explain after that Detroit team that I saw at field level was so good? They're behind 35-0 at Baltimore.
How does that happen?
How do we explain San Francisco last night against the Vikings?
Well,
it's a week-to-week league.
Brock Purdy was not very good. I mean, that's right. I hate to say it because I've been a big Brock Purdy guy.
That's a Minnesota team that my Buccaneers beat in Week 1 with Baker Mayfield playing brilliantly. If he plays like he played in Minnesota on Thursday night, the Bucs have a great chance to beat the Bills. Right now, this team is struggling to find the end zone, Wolo.
I got to tell you this story because I want to get to it because I think it happens in the NFL as well. But this past weekend, the Tigers, your alma mater, in Birmingham, battle for the bones. The renewal hadn't played
We
since
talked about
12.
that statue last week.
That's right. It's heavy as can be.
The ribs, the bones.
So the Tigers come out for warm-ups, as does UAB. They have a quarterback who's a transfer from Baylor named Jacob Zeno, who is the number 4 completions quarterback in the NCAA coming into this game. He comes out, he's got his helmet on, he's got his uniform on, and then goes to the locker room. We come out for the game, he's in street clothes, and they use their second string, third string, and fourth string quarterbacks. Gamesmanship. They never said until literally 5 minutes before the game the dude wasn't playing.
But this is the college game versus the NFL. It's gamesmanship, and that's Trent Dilfer, the former Buck quarterback.
Yeah.
But, these schools do this all the time, where they wait until 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the game to tell you people are not playing. And you mentioned I'm going to get to do the Clemson-NC State game on national radio, and a lot of the luster's off that one because Clemson now took another loss to Miami. They've got 3 ACC losses. But I've had a couple of these games where a sports information guy, I'm not saying that you probably have encountered this on more than one occasion, a sports information guy comes from the other school and says, okay, here's the list of who's not playing, and it's 5 minutes before the game.
Right.
Here's a list of 5 or 10 guys that are now not going to play. We're telling you now, 5 minutes before kickoff. So that does sometimes happen. It was gamesmanship, but it all ended well for the Tigers.
Well,
you kept the rib statue, the bones, you're good.
Oh, yeah. And on to North Texas. But even in the NFL, where it's probable, questionable, out, right, or in,
right.
They play games there too, a little bit. Didn't
But
that happen
Falcons
this weekend?
didn't tell anybody Sunday that Bijan Robinson was sick.
Right, exactly.
Not until halftime of the game did the coach, Arthur Smith, bring it up and say, the reason he's not playing is he's sick. He's standing here in full uniform with his helmet. His fantasy owners are going absolutely crazy because he's never been on an injury report.
Not just fantasy. How about those using their
Gamblers,
phones?
all of it. Oh, yeah. So the NFL is looking into that. But, in college, it's not required. So, but it worked out still for the Tigers. There you go.
Good luck to you. Safe travels. You got Buffalo on Thursday and then on to your college game, and we will reconvene next Tuesday.
Let's
and
do
see
it.
how your
Get a
Saga
Tigers
goes.
win Friday. I'll be at Niagara Falls. No, I'm not jumping. I'm just going to see it. Zach liked that line off the air, so I tried it out on you. I will not be jumping at Niagara Falls. We'll see what happens with the Bucks.
Well, if you do,
and the Bills, and
get
we'll
in the barrel.
reconvene.
If you do, try the barrel.
No.
Okay.
That's a negative on the barrel going over
idea.
the ball.
I want
Be well.
I want your twins to have their dad. I'm with y'all.
There you
All
go.
right, thank you. Enjoy, and we shall chat next week. That is our
Yes,
man.
sir.
That is TJ Reeves, and he is brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team, and they do it the collaborative way. As a team, they get to know you and your family, what's important, what your budget is, and then they will take care of you to make sure you're protected, your home, your auto, and life insurance. Same thing if you've got a business that's small to mid-sized and you need commercial insurance. Nobody will get to know your product, your employees, what your goals are better than the Eflin Insurance Team. They sit you down and get to know you, and then they figure out with your budget how to best protect your business. It's really simple. Call them and get to know them too. 901-386-4777. That spells out, by the way, GER, because they're big Tiger supporters. 901-386-GER. Get protected the collaborative way. Feel real secure about everything in your life with the Eflin Insurance Team. Johnny Radio comes your way in just a minute. Tomorrow, we're back again. Have a great day, everybody.